Hello, you weird, beautiful movie lovers. My name is Louie, aka Movie Fandom, and since the last video was the top 10 worst comic book movies, I'm gonna do the best so far, right now at least, that exist and from what I've seen, because I haven't seen every one, and I probably never will, unless, yeah. And also, by the way, just to say, with the, superhero movies and comic book movies, I'm putting both together, even though I did say comic book movies there. I'll just put them both together, or stuff that seem, similar, because, in the last, video, I just want to say, that one of my dishonorable mentions was TMNT 3, which, isn't really a comic book movie, but, it's sort of, but it is, I guess, or a superhero movie, but, but I'm gonna put it in there. But it is a comic movie, but I'm just gonna, I'll shut up now. Let's get on with the list! But first, some honorable mentions. Okay, so we got, a lot of honorable mentions, like the last video with, the dishonorable mentions. Okay, so starting off with the honorable mentions, we got Deadpool 2, Unbreakable, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man 2002, Spider-Man 2, this is a lot too so far, The Avengers, X-Men Days of Future Past, Captain America Civil War, Captain America The Winter Soldier, Spider-Man No Way Home, Kick-Ass, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, The Suicide Squad, Deadpool, Dread, The Lego Batman Movie, Sin City, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, V for Vendetta, and The Dark Knight Rises. Batman Begins from Christopher Nolan, who has done many of my favorite movies and many amazing movies, and is directing the upcoming movie Oppenheimer, which I am so excited to see. You have no idea how excited I am for it. But anyways, Batman Begins from Christopher Nolan, of course. Christopher Nolan may be my favorite director. I don't know, him or Spielberg or many others could also be my favorite, but mostly with him because of his style. I don't know what it is, but there's something that just clicks, just a little snap and just clicks right there. He did my favorite movie, he did my favorite movie of all time, Interstellar, which I absolutely adore that movie. I recently rewatched it this year, a little while ago, and it just got even better, and I'm so excited to finally watch it in a theater soon, because I will be watching it in a theater that, is a very old-fashioned theater, and I love it. So yeah, this movie is actually, maybe, my favorite origin story, aside from, some more we're gonna get to. But, anyways, regarding to, with Batman, with how it's told, let's say. Now, don't get me wrong, there are better origin stories that are kind of better, but for this one is definitely my favorite with storytelling. Genuinely, Batman is a great, compelling character. Instead of bat nipples like the last one, George Clooney, Fantastic Mr. Fox, played by George Clooney, played Batman in 1997. But here, he is serious and is just amazing. Christian Bale gives an amazing performance and is honestly my favorite performance, and starts off with one of my favorite, if not my favorite, movie trilogy of all time. Guardians of the Galaxy from director James Gunn, who is one of my favorite directors working today, and I'm so excited to see what he does with the DCEU revamp. And this movie is honestly one of genuinely the most feel-good movies of all time, in my opinion at least. It's so nice to watch. It's kind of like a cozy, comfy, movie, genuinely. It's just so nice. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that is honestly emotional. It's sad, like I said with emotional. It can be And the stuff we get is just heartbreaking, and all of those are sad, because, well, they don't mean that, but this movie has so much depth to its characters, genuinely. It is just so, so good. It's so amazing and so much fun. I will say Ronan as a villain doesn't fully work. I do adore the movie. I think it is a masterpiece, and also, by the way, every single movie on this list is an A+ for me. If you want to know what the honorable mentions, it starts with B for Vendetta with A+, and then goes to number 1. And this movie is just so nice. The level of depth we get with the characters, the setup we get later in the MCU, it's amazing, honestly. And I gotta tell you one thing. Boy! Am I singing the right theme? In all seriousness, though, The Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie. I love Pixar so much, and even in the recent years that aren't the best, even though we do have some really great stuff like Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, which I really enjoyed from last year. They have had a miss, but this movie, their old stuff also are just so good. And this easily takes the cake. This and WALL-E also, by the way, if you were wondering, takes the cake for my favorite Pixar movie. Or movies if you count WALL-E, even though that second still. But anyways, this movie is just so well crafted. The animation, even though it is pretty outdated with the designs that can look terrifying, it is just so good, and the action in here is amazing. Don't get me started with the 2D animation we get at the credits, which is just masterpiece, I tell you. Brad Bird is genuinely a genius when it comes to animation and action. No wonder he directed one of the Mission Impossible movies. Genuinely, they got an outsider to direct this movie. He worked on The Simpsons and The Iron Giant, which, by the way, The Iron Giant is amazing. If you haven't seen it, watch it now. Overall, I love this movie. Its themes on growing up, on wanting those days again, those glory days, hence what they say. It's just amazing. I love it. I always have, and I never will not love it. Who knew Vampire Boy Robert Pattinson would do a great job as one of the best superheroes ever? But anyways, even ignoring Twilight, Robert Pattinson is an amazing actor, especially with The Lighthouse, which I watched for the first time last year, and just amazing. Just the best of art house horror. But anyways, onto this movie. This is honestly just so good. This is my second favorite movie, to last year. My favorite was, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once. But with this movie, it is so amazing. Matt Reeves does an incredible job. He did great stuff with Cloverfield and the last two Planet of the Apes movies. Please don't screw the fourth one up. Please. But, genuinely, it's so well crafted, it's mature, it's dark. Even the opening kind of feels like a horror movie to me. Genuinely, when I saw that in the cinema, I was honestly pretty terrified with what was happening. Riddler is an amazing villain. Genuinely, I love him so much. He's dark, twisted, he's insane, and I love him. I'm so excited to hopefully see more of him. And Colin Farrell, the year last year was with Colin Farrell also, like, that was possibly his biggest year ever. Like, genuinely, he started it off with, After Yang, where he gives a monologue about tea leaves, and then the Penguin in this movie, which I'm so excited to see the TV show off, by the way, which so freaking excited for it. And then would later get him in The Banshees of Inisherin, which is possibly one of the darkest comedies I've ever seen. But honestly, I can go on and on about this movie. It's perfect. Even with its runtime, I just wouldn't change its runtime. I wouldn't change a thing about it. It's amazing. Just so good. And I'm so excited to see more of this world very soon. Next year with the Penguin, and then the year after that with the Batman Part 2. That is if it wasn't delayed to 2 more years, you son of a... Look, do I even need to explain myself why Infinity War is on here? It's so good. You have no idea how happy I was to see it. And I have no idea what I was like with the ending. But in all honesty though, this movie's just fantastic. It's just so good. I love it. Best two-parter of all time. Is it obvious? What's coming next? I'm crying because Gwyneth Paltrow didn't die in it. In all honesty, though, this is my favorite movie in the entire MCU. I love it. I was a happy little chicken little cult leader watching this. It's just... Oh my god. Like, this is one of the best theater experiences, like this and Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home being, like, the best theater experience I've ever had. But this movie is just so much fun. Also, don't ask me about the Chicken Little stuff, okay? Next. Easily the best send-off to a character ever. I love this movie so much. James Mangold does a perfect job. The relationship is amazing. The story, action, everything. I love it to pieces. And I'm so excited to see what James Mangold does with Indiana Jones. Please say that movie's good. Please say the Cannes audiences are just hating because Cannes suck. Just please. And I know the reactions are mixed and stuff like that. Please! One of Christopher Nolan's most interesting films, even though he has done stuff more interesting than this, like The Prestige, Memento, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, and many, many more. This movie is genuinely the best character study of all time. Batman, Bruce Wayne himself, you can feel what he's going through. You know why he needs to stop Joker, and do I need to even mention why Joker is just so good? He's my favorite comic book villain of all time, and Heath Ledger, rest in peace by the way, does possibly the best job anyone could do. If it was someone else playing him, then I have no idea. Then that would not really be the best performance ever. Because, like, Heath Ledger has possibly given the best performance I've ever seen in a movie. Genuinely, the first 8 minutes where they're robbing the bank, where they're going in it, or 8 minutes or so, and just, oh my god, the tension, the sound, the way it's shot, the camera work, editing, everything. I love it to pieces. Two-Face also. Oh my god. Do I need to go on? It's all been said before. This movie is one of the best comic book movies of all time. One of the best movies, even though it doesn't need to be yours or with comic book movies. Still, it's just so good. Genuinely, and I'm so excited to rewatch it this year. You all remember when Sunflower was everywhere back when the soundtrack for this movie released and when this movie released? I love the song, but I couldn't get away from it, just like Trolls. Well, this one is catchy in a good way. Other than Trolls, that's just garbage. Really though, if you know me personally, then you know I adore this film to death. I love Spider-Man. He is my favorite superhero. I love him so much. I always have since I was a dumb baby. And it's just so good. The animation, game-changing, of course. And is just making animation genuinely more popular, honestly. It kind of has, like, the change in animation now with stuff like the bad guys, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, even Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which I know it was announced before this, but it kind of feels like, even with that, it kind of feels a little bit like an inspiration, a little bit. I don't know if Del Toro was kind of inspired by it, or I don't know what he thinks of it. I think he may love it, but like, it's so good. I don't care whatever you say. Genuinely, this movie's so good. I love it. Do I even need to go on why everything's being said at this point? Yeah. Also, how did one of the original directors was a director on this movie? Louie, just had to make it obvious. You already did a review of it already. Can you do something original? Okay, fine. I have original opinions, but okay. Obviously, if you've seen my review of this movie just a little while ago, you know I said this is my favorite animated movie now, my favorite comic book movie now, and yes, the more I think about it, the better it gets. I'm so excited for it to be released on 4K. I'm not going to spend much time on it because I have already reviewed it, but need I say that this is just so good. It's the highest rated movie on Letterboxd for a reason. So, look, I know I just said it's so good. I love it over and over with all of these movies, but genuinely it is true, and genuinely not a single movie other than this I think deserves it the most when it comes to superhero movies. Genuinely, comic book movies, so good, and I am so excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I am so glad with the love it's getting. Please, even if it doesn't win, just make it nominated for Best Picture. Please, Oscars, even though it won't win, just please. But really though, I love this movie so much, and I'm so excited to see it even more when it comes out on physical release, see more Easter eggs, and also more videos to come out with the Easter eggs, and I'm even more excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse so much. And it is already my most anticipated movie of all time, and next year I'm just so excited for it. Yeah. Wasn't it obvious? Okay, well, that is it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, video. I know my review for The Flash was supposed to come tomorrow, but I didn't do it. Also, I have finally seen Beau's Afraid. I will review that also very soon, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, that is mostly it. That's mostly what I got. Subscribe if you want, like if you want, comment down below on what is your top 10, comic book / superhero movies of all time. Let's agree, disagree, let's just have fun overall, genuinely. Anyways, that is it, and yeah, stay awesome.